Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Are you struggling with your driver? Maybe it's the nasty hook, dreaded slice, but no matter what you try or do, it just appears to have a mind of its own. If it sounds like you, then today is a great day because I'm going to share 5 tips to help you navigate the driver buying process, because with more than 75 plus options available to you, it can be a little overwhelming. So without further delay, let's jump in. This isn't going to be your typical product review video. We're not going to compare and contrast one model versus another, but rather we're going to share the 5 best tips to help you on your journey with finding a new driver. And we're pretty confident that these 5 tips can definitely help you make light work of this task and get you on your way. So let's jump in with tip number 1. Prioritizing your objectives and pain points. And without question, this is where we need to begin. What are we looking for in a driver? And better yet, what are those problems we're trying to solve? Because I can assure you, if you are leaving yards on the table, it's going to be because of something that's going on. The ClubFitter's #1 job isn't to help you hit the ball farther. You heard me right. The ClubFitter's job is to help you understand what's preventing you from hitting the ball farther. And it's these problems that we have to lock in on in order to pick the right model to steer the ball in another direction. So if you are struggling with the slice, the hook, those dreaded moon balls over the Eiffel Tower, or those nasty worm burners that give people haircuts, you are being robbed of distance. The key is, can we identify what's going on? And it's always good to make sure we're comparing and contrasting to what you're seeing in the real world versus what we're seeing in the numbers. So make that short list. Tip number 2 is we need to narrow our focus. With more than 75 plus driver models available to you, we simply have to narrow the field down to like 6 or 7. And in order to help you do this, we're going to break the drivers down into 3 key categories. With the first category being associated with our low spin options. And here's a picture of some of the models that's available to you out of the 2023 lineup. And although these heads look a little different, I can assure you that they share one common design characteristic. And of course, I'm talking about the center of gravity being the closest to the face. And this is truly what allows these models to live up to that low spin designation. And there's no secret that these heads are preferred by our better players with faster swing speeds because they don't have a problem stamping it out of the middle. And maybe they want to take one side of the golf course out of the equation. This model can definitely be their saving grace. But it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the only type of golfer we will put into this head. So we will sometimes put our higher handicaps with slower swing speeds into this very model. And if you're scratching your head, hear me out. If you struggle with a downward angle attack with your driver, and no matter what you've tried to correct that, you haven't been able to do so, going with the low spin option with the CG push forward can definitely help do the trick. So if you never tried a low spin head, you might want to put an asterisk beside this one and give it a try. The second category of drivers I want to talk to you about is what I like to refer to as versatile distance. And although this term hasn't caught on yet, I do believe it's appropriate, and these would be your 2023 models that I would put into this category. And unlike the low spin heads where they share the common design characteristic, there's going to be one big differentiation in these models. Some models will have the ability to shift the CG from the heel to the toe. And this is what really allows this model to be the ultimate Swiss Army knife. So it doesn't matter if you struggle with the hook or the slice, this model could potentially help because we know by shifting that weight in the heel or the toe, we can speed up or slow down that face rotation. So guys, if you're kind of on the fence and not sure if you go in a low spin head or the maximum forgiveness head, this might not be a bad starting point. The last category of drivers are our game improvement or maximum forgiveness drivers, and here will be some of the models you might find in this category. And there's no secret, if you're struggling with center of face, sometimes you're striking at a toe, heel, high or low, then this driver may be the best model for you. Unlike the LS, we're going to find a CG the furthest away from the face, and this is going to make it the highest rated MOI driver out of all the others that we talked about thus far. And here we're going to be able to protect that ball speed on those off-center strikes as a result. There is going to be either a physical weight or the ability to move a weight into that heel. So these are often going to be your draw bias drivers to protect against that right side miss. But as a side note, if you struggle with the slice and you tried one of these before and it only got worse, then try a model with the ability to move that weight to the toe, and you just might be surprised. Now that we're almost halfway there, here's a tip that I don't believe is heavily utilized enough in the golfing community. Taking full advantage of those free demo days at your local golf shop. This is without question the best way to try it before you buy it. It's a great way to see if that individual driver passes the sniff test. So if it looks the part, sounds the part, feels the part, and flat out performs, then go ahead and start putting that down on your short list and then move on to your next demo day, because you're never going to be able to compare and contrast. So if you really want to see how a TaylorMade performs against a ping, you're never going to be able to do it at a demo day, but honestly speaking, it was never really designed for that purpose. At no point are you committed or obligated to make a purchase. And heck, I might even go as far to discourage a purchase at one of these demo days. So use it for the research, start your short list, and the only thing it's going to cost you is your time, because you might have to go to 4 or 5 demo days. So if you're still with us, thank you for sticking around. And if you are finding value, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up and don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, so that way you get an alert anytime we release any new content. So let's get back to those tips. Tip number 4, and I promise you, you've never heard it before, and that is think about tomorrow. So let me explain. So not only is it important to pick and choose a model based off of where your skill and ability is today, but it's really important to understand, where do you want your game to be 6 months from now? If you're currently hitting the fade and you want to turn into a draw player, you can definitely pick and choose a model that has the flexibility to adjust. And it's going to be the best thing to kick the can down the road and actually stretch your dollar. So this way you're not back to the drawing board sooner than you need to be. But never lose sight of where your current game is and where you want to be, and I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Bringing it all home with our 5th and final tip is go get fit. And I truly can't emphasize this enough, because whether if you spend $200 or $1,000, wouldn't you want to have peace of mind that the golf club you're going to put in your bag is the best option for your game? And there's no disputing that if you take the time to seek out the expertise from an experienced club fitter with a solid reputation, not only can you stack the deck in your favor and address all of the things we talked about, but you're going to give yourself the best opportunity to take your game to the next level. And yes, I do know all club fitters aren't created equal. So this may require you doing a little extra research, and it may even require you to have to travel outside of your local area. But it gives you that peace of mind, and it actually helps you take your game to another level. Wouldn't it be worth its weight in gold? So in closing, we truly hope you found value with the information that we share with you today. And if you have any questions or comments, do me a favor. Just leave them in the remarks below, and I'll do my very best to help you find the answers to the questions that you're searching for. So until next time, thanks for watching.